Episode 30, Manna from Heaven. After crossing the Red Sea, the Israelites continued their journey through the desert. They were heading towards the land that God had promised to give them, but the journey was long and difficult. As they traveled, they began to run out of food. The people grew hungry and started to complain to Moses and Aaron, saying, "Why did you bring us out of Egypt just to let us starve in the desert? We had plenty of food in Egypt." Moses knew that God would take care of them, so he prayed to God for help. God heard the people's complaints and spoke to Moses, saying, "I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day." God wanted the Israelites to trust him to provide for their needs each day. The next morning, when the Israelites woke up, they saw something amazing. The ground was covered with a fine, flaky substance that looked like frost. The people were surprised and asked, "What is it?" Moses told them, "It is the bread the Lord has given you to eat." The Israelites called it manna, which means, "What is it?" Moses instructed the people to gather as much manna as they needed for each day, but not to keep any of it overnight. Some of the people disobeyed and tried to save extra manna, but it became spoiled and full of worms by the next morning. God wanted them to trust him to provide for them each day. On the sixth day, God told them to gather twice as much manna, so they would have enough for the Sabbath, a day of rest. On the Sabbath, the manna did not spoil, and the people rested as God had commanded. The Israelites ate manna every day as they traveled through the desert. God provided for them even when there seemed to be no food in sight. He also provided quail in the evenings, so they would have meat to eat. The people learned that they could trust God to take care of them even in the middle of the desert. Moral of the story: God provides for our needs, even when things seem impossible. He wants us to trust him each day and know that he will take care of us. When we rely on God, we can be sure that he will give us everything we need.